Hello, my friends. Welcome. So happy that you're here with me today for Facebook Live Thursday. And I know that some of you are new to Transform Together. So I want to welcome you here. We've got a really beautiful, powerful, engaged community, and I'm really grateful that you are joining us. And I look forward to supporting you. And we all are here to share our challenges and share our successes. That's one thing I want to continue reminding you about, that, whereas historically we have learned how to bond over our suffering, and something that I really champion in Transform Together is being able to bond over our success. So welcome. And just know that I'm here, I'm in the group. We've also got Rini, our community concierge, in the group, and we are here for you to support you in every way we can. Which reminds me, if you have not yet grabbed my brand new freebie called Your Updated Operating Manual, the new building blocks for your liberated life, I highly encourage that you grab it. The link is above, nancylevin.com/manual. So I want to make sure that you know that that is something available to you. I've created this so that you can begin looking at really what are the building blocks that you can implement in your life for you to be able to get to your own center. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about finding your own true north. And if you are anything like I have been in my life, you might identify as a people pleaser, a peacekeeper, a conflict avoider, a not rock the boater. You might identify as someone who is always on high alert with your antenna out onto others, looking for the places where you can swoop in to rescue, fix, save, and heal someone else. And what I want to let you know about today is that hard as we may try, we can't actually rescue, save, fix, or heal anyone except for ourselves. And so the quicker that we learn that the only change we have control over is our own, the quicker action about making that particular change for ourselves. So I really want you to start taking your antenna and attention off of everyone else outside of you and bring it back here. And I think that this is a particularly potent and poignant message for where we are right now in this time. We are all globally in this pandemic. We are all in different phases of where we live, opening or staying closed, or whatever that might look like. And here's the deal. Your entire, your city or your state or your county, wherever you live, or your country, whatever, wherever you live might be open, and you get to discern for yourself the choices you're going to make about what feels right for you. This is about finding your own true north. This is about other people saying, hey, let's go to a restaurant because it's open, and you know what? It doesn't really feel good to me. I'm going to stay home. So there's a lot of opportunity to practice our boundaries here. There's a lot of opportunity to practice finding what is true for us instead of checking in with someone else first. So when we're talking about finding your true north, what we're really talking about is unlearning a pattern of codependency that we might have had. So codependency, the way that I work with it, is wanting someone else to regulate us emotionally. So in other words, we're so tuned in with the other person that in fact we've lost our sense of our own guidance system, and we're checking in with someone else to determine how we feel. And if you just hear that, just listen to what that sounds like. I'm checking in with someone else to know how I feel. Right? So you hear that and it sounds kind of crazy, and yet it's something that we do. It's the walking on eggshells, or it's the acquiescing. And it's the way that we sublimate our wants, needs, and desires. We abandon ourselves for the sake of someone else. And so what I'm really pointing to here, that when we're looking at finding our own true north, What we're really saying is, I give myself permission. I give myself permission to consider my own needs, to really consider myself at least as much as I consider everyone else. Then I'm going to consider myself even more than I consider everyone else. And then what I call the real boundary ninja move is I'm going to consider myself first. So instead of going into some version of think, what do they need? What do they feel? I stop, I pause, and I check in with me first. What do I think? What do I feel? What do I need? And I start operating from that place. Okay, I'm going to just take a moment and say hi. Hey, Teresa, honey. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Sarah. Hey, Heather. Hi, Yvette. So Sarah says you're saying it sounds backwards. And what I think you're saying is it sounds backwards to consider. And if that is what you mean, then I'm really glad that you're here. I'm really glad that you're here. We have this idea that in order to be good or kind or nice, we actually have to acquiesce to what other people want. We have to people please. We have to bend over backwards. We have to sublimate what we want, all in the name of, well, isn't that selfish to put myself first? And what I will remind you of, and I'm on the bandwagon to reclaim selfishness, is that selfish, self-love, and self-care are three sisters whose job it is to support you in honoring yourself. And if you're not going to honor yourself, who will? This is what we have backwards. We think that our sense of worth and value is going to come from someone or something outside of us. So, as I often say, we hitch our worthiness to someone else's wagon, thinking that we'll get our sense of value, our worth, if someone else outside of us deems us so. But what happens when we're constantly chasing the external validation, chasing the gold stars, when we're chasing the external approval, is that no gold stars are ever going to be enough to fill the void that exists within us. Nothing external. So what I want you to remember is that everything you're seeking externally needs to be resolved internally first. And here's what I want you to listen to, Sarah, is, so I said, the three-pronged approach is, consider yourself at least as much as you consider everyone else. Consider yourself more than you consider others, and consider yourself first. I didn't ever say don't consider other people. I never said consider yourself only. But I want you to notice if that's what you heard, because most of us will go black or white. Most of us will go either or. And what I want you to remember is that it's a both and. So I can consider myself and I can consider others, but I lose myself when I only consider others. Because, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Most of us have been operating probably for decades from the place of, and I use this as a metaphor, but I've learned from my clients that this is literal. We've been operating from the place of, let me set the table with the lace tablecloth and the fine china and the crystal and the silver and the big juicy steak or the big juicy tofu. Let me make sure everyone has what they need, and I will eat over the sink in the dark in the kitchen any scraps and crumbs that are left over. So I just want you to notice how that might land for you. Are you the one who's standing in the kitchen in the dark eating the scraps and crumbs over the sink? Or are you willing to sit at the head of your own table? Are you willing to actually insert yourself into the equation of your own life? Hi, Kate. My sister just joined us. Hi, Heather. Yes, both and. And this is what's really important. And this is what's really a big pivot for so many, because again, we're so used to thinking either or. Either I care for everyone else or I care for myself. And it's not an either or, it's a both and. And it's also to be able to remember that we want to be giving to others from a place of really true generosity and connection and desire, not from a place of obligation, not from a place of feeling resentful. And the way, the number one way that we know a boundary needs to be put into place is we feel our resentment level rising. So that is the indicator something's out of whack. I need to actually check in and see where I need to actually set a boundary in my own life to uphold this so that I can resource and restore my own energy. And we also want to look at the ways that we're overgiving and depleting our own resources, because we can't give from an empty well. So we want to make sure that we are resourcing ourselves so that we have more to give to ourselves and give to others. We want to contribute to community. We want to contribute to society. We want to be able to be in connection, and we want to make sure that we're doing it from a place where we're well fueled. So that's something else that I want you to start looking at. What are the things that you do in your daily life that can restore, that can replenish, renourish, and refuel you? It doesn't have to be talking about 5 minutes, whether it's meditation, whether it's journaling, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's taking a hot shower, whatever it is, where you can actually have some devoted time where you're actually going to spend in connection with yourself. This is what's going to have you be able to locate yourself so that you know your true north, so that you know you are your own GPS. You're not putting your antenna out to everybody else to figure out what's best for you and how you feel. You are the expert on you. I want you to remember that. Let's see. Daisy. Hi, Daisy. Good morning. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Vincy. Live from your garden. Beautiful. Hey, Teresa. Am I willing to be responsible for myself, to just expect everyone to know what my needs, what my wants and needs are, and be resentful? Exactly. And that's the big thing, because what happens so often is we do think people are mind readers, or we want them to read our mind. Part of it is that we don't want to actually express what's true for us. But there's a few things here. To me, alignment with my truth and expressing my truth without fear, and boundaries are the bridge to that freedom. And the other piece here is recognizing that when I don't set my boundaries and don't state them and hold them, when I'm in the place of still thinking that other people are crossing my boundaries, because if you've been following me, you know that if your boundaries are being crossed, you're the one crossing them. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's true. And here's the deal with that. That very essence is expressing that you get to move yourself out of blame and victimhood into responsibility and empowerment. So if you're no longer holding someone else responsible for your experience, if you're no longer blaming your experience on someone else, you sit in the driver's seat, you take responsibility, and you've got the power. Yvette, I really needed to hear this today. So glad. Pamela, I'm realizing I need to make a list of what I want from others. And after I'm truly clear, turn that want list from inside of me. Great. So yeah, so what you're looking for externally needs to be resolved internally first. Exactly. Hey, Naomi, happy to see you here. Heather, I feel like after hearing these things from you for so many years, they're finally sinking in. Thank you. Thank you. I know it's the thing. Sometimes we have to hear things so many times for them to really land in us. But what I'm really trying to help you create for yourself is, how do you stand in your sovereignty? How do you learn to locate yourself? How do you not lose yourself? How do you actually stand in the truth of who you are and make decisions from that point? I talk a lot about my transformation equation. Change equals vision plus choice plus action. And in the free guide I've got, operating manual. So again, your updated operating manual is at nancylevin.com/manual, totally free. I really explore this transformation equation because in order to make change, we have to have a vision. And I don't mean some gigantic, big blue sky vision. It can be a simple, small, micro vision of simply where you want to be in a certain area of your life, or around a certain goal, or around a certain project, or in a certain relationship. It can be something small. The vision doesn't have to be gigantic. I think we often get a little bit intimidated by the word vision. So it can be small. So you want to have your clarity of vision of where you want to be, where you want to go. Then you really need to be willing to make different choices, because we've all heard, that definition of insanity, making this, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We have to be willing to make different choices. And you've probably also heard me say before, your present moment choice, it predicts your future. Your present moment choice is the crystal ball. So you want to be willing to make different choices and then take action. Everything is about action. And action, movement mobilizes possibility. That's what I want you to remember. Movement mobilizes possibility. And it doesn't have to be about the right action. It needs to be that you're putting your foot down on one side of the fence or the other. You move in that direction. And you know what? You can always course correct. Always. So it's more important that you take action than get hung up on the right action. Simply ask yourself, what's the next action I can take versus it being right? Pamela, I definitely need help expressing with a family member. So a couple things for you, Pamela, that I'll share. One is I have a lot of scripts and tips in my book behind me, Setting Boundaries Will Set You Free. And also, when you grab the guide, your updated operating manual, which is free, again, there is an option for a very small price of $3. There is an option to also pick up my Boundary Badassery Pocket Guide, which is filled with scripts. It's amazing, if I may say so myself. I poured everything into that around scripts in every scenario, with family, with saying no, all of that. So there's lots in there too. Hey Morgan, hi Rhonda, hi Nancy, Sherry, hello dear Nancy. I'm in the backyard as I listen to this on a beautiful day of sunshine. Great. Pamela, I've been so trained and programmed to react to others' needs. Yes. And this is the thing that we are unlearning and untraining. We're training ourselves in a new direction. We're putting new grooves. We're opening new grooves for new pathways, for new patterns. And listen, it's no easy feat to really turn the ship around. But here's what I want you to know. If I can do it, so can you. And I really want you to hear me on that. I'm not bullshitting you. If I can do this, so can you. Because I was the do-it-all doormat, the people pleaser, the peacekeeper, conflict avoider, all of it. And I did everything for everyone else. And I sublimated all my wants and needs and desires for the success of others. And what we have to come down to is look what's underneath of really what's the motivation. What is the motivation under that? Am I trying to buy love? And, am I trying to earn or prove my value or my worth? And when we do this, when we're in reaction to someone else, we have to really learn how to take the pause, to reconnect to ourselves, to move from a place of our own authentic agency, so that we're not in reaction. Which is really what happens when we're living an other-focused life, an other-referenced life. So what I'm inviting you to do is actually put yourself at the center of your life. Put yourself at the center of your life. Make yourself the priority first. It's just like the old, the analogy of the oxygen mask. Put your oxygen mask on you first. That's how you're going to be most effective. Wendy, thank you. I'm glad you like the book. I'm glad you think it's awesome. Naomi, I got involved in a business collaboration with a friend that I was excited about at first. I remember this, but as it unfolded, I realized I don't work well with people who are critical and demanding, and I had to make a very difficult decision to break off the collaboration. It was so hard for me, but I looked out for myself and did it anyway. I feel so relieved in saying no. I said yes to myself, and that is everything. That is exactly the deal. When you say no to something outside of you, you're saying yes to you. Morgan, I'm so inspired. I'm getting your book in the app today. Yay! That's my action stuff I'm saying out loud. I love it. Fantastic. Heather, agreed. That boundary pocket guide is like a loaded gun of badass. Hi, Pia from Denmark. Hi, sweet Rainy. Naomi, I was able to do this because of all that I've learned from you. I'm a better person as a direct result of all your guidance and teachings. I'm so glad to know this, Naomi. I've loved witnessing you over time. And hi, Linda. Nice to see you here too. So just a reminder, this is about checking in with yourself first, knowing that you are the expert on you, knowing that your guidance system is alive and well inside of you, and it's been trying to get your attention for all of these years. And you owe it to yourself to listen. You owe it to yourself to pay attention to what inside of you needs your attention most. Morgan, I'm so excited and grateful. Thank you for your work. You're very, very welcome. So again, your updated operating manual is at nancylevin.com/manual. And we're here every Thursday doing Facebook Live, and I'll see you inside the Facebook group Transform Together. And thanks for joining me.